I have an example. This is a guy who tweets at me a lot. He's addicted to me. He's one of those that doesn't follow me, but he follows me. That's what it means. Like, he'll always comment on my posts and shit like that. I have guys, believe it or not, they find me irresistible that fucking hate me. And I guess if nothing else, those are the best kind of haters to have, because you're able to be monetized, and you're probably always clicking on my videos and stuff. So at minimum, we're getting ad revenue from you. So there's that. But there was a little example of kind of some weird stuff a guy said, but it shows how a lot of white leftists feel about black people, and let's say non-white people, in that they obviously project their race. These are always the guys that claim to be so anti-racist and fist in the air, all those sorts of things. And really, a lot of that stuff, and when they're calling other people racist all the time, it's a projection, and it has views that sometimes it's bigotry and it's the low expectations. But that's not always the case. It's just these guys are fucking stupid. They're brainlets, and they don't seem to understand literal racism is implied by the positions that they hold. Here's another example of this. This guy says and this is responding, by the way, to another black man who was basically explaining my position to this guy. This is a fellow black libertarian. And this last comment that he had made, he said to those characters, basically, let's set the scene. This, remember, is all coming from this moronic idea that black characters are on my wall. Remember, we talked about the Brianna Wu situation, but I have black characters on my wall, for example, because they're black and I'm black, and I saw myself in them and reasons, not because I like their stories or anything like that. It's only because of this and all that sort of stuff. And what he was speaking to, he also says to those, this is not the troll that we're reading. This is to the black libertarian who's explaining my position. He says, to those characters for being all white, he says, this is your own projection because you have the privilege of not having to think about your skin color daily. He says, so you project that others are inferior and must be desperate to see themselves because progressive ideology pushes that view. And he's 100% right. And this is what this moron said. I don't generally have the same expectation of white people liking white superheroes because this is bad. We're represented in, it says we're represented in media everywhere, whereas the black people and especially Asian people have a harder time finding themselves widely represented in Western media. So basically what he's saying is that white people can like white characters and it not be because they're white. Black people, and especially Asian characters, he doesn't expect such a thing. And this is what I'm talking about with the expectations, and their racism shows by way of that. Because, again, they can support whatever it is that they want to support and it not have anything to do with racial aspects or anything like that. But God forbid, brothers like myself, like black characters, because of their stories, because of their power bases, because the relationships that they may have with other characters or in relationship to the actual universal world that they live in. That can't happen. It's got to be because of this right here. And this is why, again, I continue to say, like, when we talk about racism, which it isn't never been anything that I'm going to ever obsess over, because all I'm doing right here is just pointing out that these guys that are claiming to be anti-racist are actual racists, whether they know it or not. But a lot of the racism that I've ever experienced throughout my life it hasn't been from some freaking Klansman jumping out of a bush, ready to attack me. It's by way of these deranged leftists who think they're doing someone a favor by advocating tokenism in comic books and tokenized versions of comic book characters that nobody asked for other than them. So they can oppress themselves, or rather pat themselves on the back like, look at me, the black people now can see themselves. Because, God forbid, black people support black characters or like black characters, and it's not because of their... It's like, imagine how stupid that is, because obviously there's plenty of black goofy characters that I don't support, or I rather don't like. There's plenty of those. And there are those that I do. and obviously there are white characters. So we got characters that, let's say, are non-white, right? Like Brother Voodoo and all those. We got Bishop right there, who y'all can see in the shot. Blade's actually right there, up there, right there at that one. That's Blade and Wolverine fighting. That's only there because I'm black, guys. Now all these other characters who are not white and male, such as Wonder Woman is right there. Those characters doesn't even matter that they're there. They're not even Goat Cheetah back there. He's not even there. Well, he's a white male. Well, he's not. He's a fucking half monkey sand. But you get what I'm saying. Fair skin in the minds. Doesn't look anything like me. Those guys are there because, okay, don't worry about that. Only the black characters are on my wall because I'm black and they're black. It's a lousy non-argument, non-position. All it does is display these white leftists and their projected racism. So when you hear that it's like the great Malcolm X said, that white leftists basically you see foaming at the mouth, always talking about racism and shit. That's the most dangerous motherfucker. Same thing. Nothing changed. These are some of the most evil racist sons of bitches because they treat non-white people like they fucking pets. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.